Hello, I've been neglecting my duties slightly in the last few weeks, but I've found a little slot. Thank you for joining me at Bert's Books. You may be wondering why I am dressed in vintage mimetico, the textile of choice for generic heavies and villains in 70s dramas, and indeed speed in Citizen Smith. Well, the reason I'm dressed in this is it seems sort of appropriate, or dimly appropriate, for the first title in my recent charity shop find. Charity shop finds at charity shop prices. So, cry havoc and let loose. I must have read this in my teens. I don't remember a lot. I guess I saw the film. I can't remember much about it. I don't know, it must have been sort of teenage stuff. Frederick Forsyth's Dogs of War. Now, Forsyth, I won't say he's a favourite author of mine, but, he's responsible for the likes of Day of the Jackal, the Odessa File, of which I'm quite a fan of the film, actually, of that. As again, if I read the novel, it was probably in the 80s or something, but the film I'll revisit fairly frequently. Excellent performances by John Voight and Maximilian Schell in it, amongst others. But, he's certainly a very capable thriller writer and a man whose background, I believe his work as a journalist did sort of take him beating heart of the areas in which he wrote about. Now, that said, he's probably not an author I'd want to get stuck in a lift with, but, no problem reading his books. So this was 1974. I think it predated the novel of, there was this kind of mercenary kink in the 70s and early 80s. I think this one it came out about 3 or 4 years before The Wild Geese, which I believe was filmed before the filming of this. I think the film of this, Christopher Walken, I believe, was in it. Probably 1980. I think The Wild Geese filmed slightly earlier, but the book predates the book of The Wild Geese, certainly. And this one, it has quite the reputation now, according to the bump from Wikipedia here, my very hasty ramshackle research methods. According to the Wikipedia bit, Forsyth entered into the research for this novel as if he were actually plotting a coup in Equatorial Guinea. I think the name of the country's been kind of altered for the sake of, whatever, but I think the model was Equatorial Guinea, where subsequently attempted coups and so on did unfold. Famously, savoury characters such as Mark Thatcher getting themselves involved in later years. So, according to this, Forsyth's book was described in Ken Connor's book, How to Stage a Military Coup. The author praises the Dogs of War as a textbook for mercenaries. So, I won't let this give me any ideas. I'm too stay-at-home for that stuff, too old, and too cowardly. But anyway, we can vicariously indulge in our schoolboy fixations with armed conflict through such works, I suppose. Anyway, £1.50, that's not bad. That's actual proper charity shop price. That's quite hard to find. Anyway, on a lighter note, I also chanced upon a real bargain. Shut your mouth, bonehead. Yes, Grange Hill novels. 4 of them. What have we got? Grange Hill goes on for £4, £4.50 or 4 of these. Grange Hill Goes Wild. Tucker and Co. What's this one? Grange Hill for Sale. And Grange Hill Rules OK. Now, I'm not quite clear if these sort of echoed existing plot lines or if they were kind of standalone for, if they weren't dramatically adapted in the series. I'm not exactly clear. I think the only one I read, which I read, sort of almost back then, it would have been early 80s or so. I do remember this one, and the reason I remember this one Incidentally, this one is to do with Doyle intriguing against Tucker. He gets wind of the fact that Tucker's had so many bollockings, he's on his last warning before he gets kicked out of the school. And there's some kind of plot with the police, for some reason, maintaining surveillance on various Grange Hill pupils. I mean, it sort of betrays the time it was written. The chapter with the detectives, or the undercover guys, discussing the pupils that they're keeping an eye on, one of which is Benny Green, who you see on the cover here, played by Terry Supat, I think the chap's name was. I met him at a barbecue once, incidentally, some years ago. I don't think he's with us anymore, but I did briefly get to say hello to Benny. Anyway, the way in which the police discuss Benny, well, it's, it may not have been inaccurate in a depiction of early 80s policing. But anyway, this book is memorable to me from the time I read it as a kid. The thing that really stuck in my mind is Tucker's poetry, right? To which I shall treat you. There's no place like Grange Hill, I bet you. 'Cause if you bunk off, they won't let you. If you stay, they come and get you. The place is like a prison, there's no doubt. But if they really want to punish you, they throw you out. Grange Hill, I love you so. I'll have my ashes scattered when I go. As I fall in little gritty bits, I'll see Llewellyn having 50 fits. How long's Tucker expected to live? He'll say, that's just like Jenkins, messy pup, so Mr. Garfield, come and sweep him up. Anyway, there's another fragment. In Grange Hill we pupils toil, until our brains we need to oil, before our heads begin to boil. There's only one thing that can spoil, a fat, disgusting little boil. His name is Michael Bighead. As the class round him yelled out, Doyle! Tucker walked up to Mr. Sutcliffe. Could you kindly sign my silence book, sir? He asked loudly. I think there's a sponsored silence or something going on for charity. Anyway, it's one of those entertaining little ventures down memory lane. Incidentally, someone mentioned to me on social media that Tucker, Todd Carty, who of course went on to play the second version of Mark Fowler in EastEnders, but it was mentioned to me that Todd Carty is a massive Ennio Morricone fan, which kind of elevates him in my estimation, which is already fairly high because he played Tucker Jenkins. But anyway, so that was not a bad little haul. Encouraging bargain prices. So yes, anyway, that's me for now. I will catch up with you soon, I trust.